The fingerprints of the Creator are on the universe. What do I mean by that? Well, if you take a look at our solar system, for example, where are we? There we are right there, third rock from the sun, right? Third rock from the sun, there's Earth. Well, if we were just a little bit closer to, a little bit further away from the sun, we wouldn't be here. If the axial tilt wasn't 23 degrees of this planet, we wouldn't be here. If the Earth rotation was not 24 hours, we wouldn't be here. The universe is precisely tweaked to support life on Earth. This is called the anthropic principle in science. That the universe is so precise, just as it is, that if any one little thing were altered, man, anthropos, wouldn't exist. If the gravitational force were altered by 1 part in 10 to the 40, we wouldn't be here. If the expansion rate of the universe slowed down by 1/1,000th, 1/1,000,000th more slowly than it is now, we wouldn't be here. If Jupiter wasn't in its current orbit, we wouldn't be here. See Jupiter? There it is, right there. Why? Because Jupiter acts as a cosmic vacuum cleaner. Its gravitational force is so great that it attracts all the cosmic space junk, all the meteors, to it rather than us. In fact, if Jupiter didn't have one of its 63 moons, we might not be here. Take a close-up look at Jupiter. See Jupiter here? You see those purple marks on Jupiter? What are those purple marks? Those purple marks are comet fragment strikes that are bigger than the Earth. Thank God for Jupiter. Because without Jupiter, we wouldn't be here. In fact, you want to see how big Jupiter is? Check this out. There's Jupiter, right? Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. There we are, Earth, Mars, Venus, Mercury. Look at poor Pluto. You know, Pluto's been demoted recently. Did you hear that? Pluto is no longer a planet, according to scientists. I think it's size discrimination. I mean, here's poor Pluto. What does he take? 252 years to go around the sun, something like that? And we just say, forget about it. Forget about it. You're not a planet. Don't bother. Where do we get off saying that? They think that's cool. Take a look at this. You can't even see Pluto. Now, this amazing solar system is amazing, but let me ask you a question. How big would our solar system be if we could take our galaxy and shrink it down to the size of the continental United States? Our solar system would be the size of a quarter on the floor in the Nevada desert. A quarter! And how many galaxies are out there? According to scientists, billions. How much distance is between stars just in our galaxy? This is another anthropic constant. The amount of distance, the amount of miles between our star, the sun, and another star an average distance away is 30 trillion miles. You say, hey, that's a long way, Frank. How long is that? Let me put it in perspective. The space shuttle, when it's in orbit, goes around the Earth between 17 and 18,000 miles an hour. That's 5 miles a second. You got trouble getting to work in the morning? Take the space shuttle. You'll be there. I did a little calculation to try and figure out how long would it take us if we can get in the space shuttle at our star, the sun, and go to another star an average distance away, 30 trillion miles. How long would it take us? It would take us 201,450 years, going 5 miles a second. Which means if you had gotten in the space shuttle at the time of Christ, at our star, the sun, and started traveling to another star an average distance away, going 5 miles a second, you'd be less than 100th of the way there right now. The heavens are awesome. And the heavens are a clue to us as to who God is. In fact, February 1st, 2003, Saturday morning. President of the United States went into the Oval Office. They turned on the TV camera. Every major network carried his address. Saturday morning? Looked into the TV camera. He said, "My fellow Americans, our nation this morning has experienced a great tragedy. The space shuttle Columbia, upon re-entry into the atmosphere, burned up in the skies over Texas. There are no survivors." The president then went on to quote from Isaiah chapter 40. Why did he quote from Isaiah chapter 40? Because here's what Isaiah chapter 40 says. This is God speaking. "To whom will you compare me, or who is my equal, says the Holy One? Lift your eyes and look to the heavens. Who created all these? He who brings out the starry host one by one and calls them each by name. Because of his great power and mighty strength, not one of them is missing." The president then went on to say, the same God that created all those stars and named all those stars knows the names of the 7 astronauts who perished today. We can all now pray that they are safely home. You want to know who God is? Remove all limits from your mind. That's God. You want to know who God is? Look to the heavens. What's in the heavens? You know how many stars are in the heavens according to scientists? The number of stars out there are about equivalent to the number of sand grains on all the beaches on all the earth. And you go from one sand grain to another sand grain, going 5 miles a second will take you over 200,000 years. The heavens are awesome. Only God is more awesome. Most of us Christians have the wrong idea who God is. We think God is like our cosmic bellboy. You know, we like go, "God, you who, I need help down here." Well, he's there for that, but he doesn't always do things the way we want him to do, does he? The same God that's holding all those stars together and running the entire universe might have something up his sleeve, so to speak, that isn't in your plans, right? He may do things that we don't quite understand because he's infinite and we're finite. Always keep that in mind. Why are you to make no graven image? Commandment 2. Because any image you make of God necessarily limits his majesty. You can't make anything that represents God because he's completely out of this world. The closest thing we know about it that was in this world is Jesus Christ himself. We saw him in his human form. We saw Jesus in his human nature, but he had a divine nature as well.